Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have posted anything. I've been in a reading slump for almost this entire year now. I have still been reading a little bit slowly, but I feel like a lot of the books I've been reading are just kind of meh. I haven't found a ton of books that I've really just loved. I haven't been obsessed with anything lately. And I also got super busy at the beginning of the year and I just didn't want to read for videos. I didn't want to go through the process of editing. I just wasn't in the mood to do any of it, to be honest. But we're now hitting the halfway mark of 2026 and I figured I would try again, but with a lot less pressure on myself. So I'm only going to film videos when I'm inspired and just want to talk about something. I'm not going to try to film and read for every single video. All that being said, one of my favorite videos to film is my TBR video, even though I am absolutely terrible at sticking to it. So we're gonna do that for July. I decided to switch up some of the prompts on the deck of TBR reference sheet that I'm using, just because I feel like I keep getting the same prompts over and over again. Normally, I have 5 books plus a new release, but I officially finished Herkyed 2.0 this past month, and so I am no longer required to read a new release. I will keep 6 books, but we're gonna draw for that 6th and final book. I think that's everything that's important. So let's just get started and pull the first prompt. Prompt number 1 is the Jack of Spades. A jack means that I need to unhaul a book and draw again. So let me find a book to unhaul. For my unhaul, I am going to go with Life of Pi by Yann Martel. I originally bought this for a Herkyed prompt. I think it was like an adaptation of some sort. Ever since I fulfilled that prompt on Herkyed months ago, I have not given this book a second look. I haven't been drawn to it at all. And so I think this is going to be my unhaul. If you've read this book and think that I'm making a mistake, let me know, because I think that I probably could be convinced to pick it up anyway. But at least right now, this just is not on my radar. I don't really think I'm interested in it anymore. And yeah, this is going to be my unhaul pick. So let me redraw a prompt. We have the 10 of Hearts. So the 10 of Hearts is a number generator. I'm going to go to Google and generate a random number 1 through 98. And then I will go through my book spreadsheet, and whatever book is the number that was generated will be added to the TBR. If it is part of a series, I'm going to pick the book that I'm up to in the series. And if it is part of an unfinished series, I will probably just re-roll, because I am not a big fan of starting series that haven't been finished yet. Do a random number generator, book 1 through 98. Generate 78. Unfortunately, I do not have this numbered, so excuse me while I count. 6, 7, 8. Oof. Okay. It's number 78, which really not going to help you because I don't have numbers here, but it is the Dragon Republic. I think that's the second book in the Poppy War trilogy. I have not yet read book 1 in the Poppy War trilogy, so the very first book on the July TBR is going to be Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I know absolutely nothing about this series. I refuse to read the synopsis on the back, but I have read Babel this year by R.F. Kuang, and I really enjoyed her writing. I think she does such a good job at developing the world and her magic systems, and so I'm very excited to get into this series. So book 1 on the July TBR is the Poppy War. Prompt number 2. is the Six of Spades. The Six of Spades is a partner picks. Now I could call him, okay, and ask him what book he would choose for me to read, but I don't need to because I know what book he wants me to read. He has wanted me to read this since he read it like a month and a half ago. So I'm not even going to bother to ask him because I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to tell me to read Recursion. I believe Recursion is a sci-fi book where people started waking up with memories of a life that they never lived. My partner said that this was very trippy. He really enjoyed it. And so I am excited. I think it only took him like 2 days to read it, which is very, very fast for him, if that's true. So this will be book number 2 on the July TBR, and I know for a fact that if I do not read this in July, he is just going to get mad at me. So I'll do my best. Don't yell at me. Prompt number 3 is the Six of Clubs. Six of Clubs is a book with multiple POVs. I have a fantasy and a sci-fi already, so I grabbed 3 different romance options. We have Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is the 3rd book in the When in Rome series. I didn't really like book 1, but I loved book 2, if I remember correctly. So I'm curious to know how I will feel about book 3. This is following Emily. She is the sister of Noah. She's the sister of the main male character in When in Rome. She is a teacher. I believe she has a kind of rivals to lovers situation in this book. So this is option number 1. Option 2 is Funny Feelings by Tarah DeWitt. This is a kind of fake dating, friends to lovers kind of story. It's about a stand-up comedian and her manager, and for some reason or other they have to fake date, and one thing will lead to the other. And then the final option is When You Wish Upon a Lantern. This is a second chance romance. I think this is somewhat of a second chance romance. It's like childhood friends who for some reason aren't talking now, rekindle their friendship, and maybe develop into a romance type story. So these are the 3 options. I think out of these 3, I'm leaning mainly towards Beg, Borrow, or Steal and When You Wish Upon a Lantern. I think I'm going to choose When You Wish Upon a Lantern for this time around. This book has been sitting on my TBR for multiple years now. It looks absolutely adorable. I definitely bought it because of the cover and the whole lanterns thing. Tangled is my favorite Disney movie, so it was definitely a judging a book by the cover type of situation. But I think that it is time for me to read this. It has been on my TBR for so long, and now it'll be officially added to the July TBR. Okay, prompt number 4 is the Eight of Hearts. And I should really speed up because my camera is starting to die. The Eight of Hearts is a debut novel. Instantly, I know for sure that this book, She Who Devours, is a debut novel. This is a fantasy book written by an author in the Philippines. I actually had my uncle buy this and bring this back for me because this hasn't been released in the United States yet. I saw her talking about this on TikTok. It's a new adult fantasy novel, and it is heavily influenced by Filipino culture and folklore, so I'm very, very interested to read this. I hope it's good. The back says that we're following 21-year-old Maya Halili. She is trying to secure a spot as a full-time faculty member at the National University of the Seven Islands, but a series of mysterious disappearances start plaguing the city, and so Maya's world of academics and ambition crumble when the spirits of the Seven Islands draw her into a secret society that can call down the gods and allow them to use their bodies as vessels for better or for worse. She must make an impossible choice, choose the quiet academic life of her dreams, or embrace her destiny, join the battle, and save the world. So, I am very excited about this. It looks pretty short, so I think it is doable even with the book slump going on. So this is going to be book number 4 on the July TBR. Prompt number 5. Oh my god, I almost dropped all my cards. Prompt number 5. Another one? Okay. Prompt number 5 is another Jack, so let me find a second book to unhaul. Second book for unhaul is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. This is a book that my mom sent to me. Follows a girl who is waiting to be executed. This just isn't a book that I think I would have picked up for myself. I, again, haven't really been drawn to it, but if you have read it and you think it is worth reading, please let me know and I might try to read it. But yeah, this is going to be the second book that I unhaul for this video. And let me redraw another prompt. So the 8 of Diamonds is a book that I've seen on BookTube. Well, that's pretty good because that's like 90% of my TBR, to be honest. I think I'm gonna go with Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices series. I literally just finished book 1 in the series, and I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I am obsessed with the Mortal Instrument series. I loved that as a kid, and even rereading it as an adult, I love being in that world. I always feel so immersed and obsessed with the characters, and I just didn't get that in book 1. I've heard that this series gets better in the later books, that book 3 is the best book in the Infernal Devices series. I am honestly very hesitant to read this second book, but I do want to keep going in this series because I need to finish this trilogy to be able to continue in the Shadowhunters universe as a whole, and I don't want the disappointment of the first book to be the reason why I completely stop and lose momentum. So I'm going to put book 2 on the July TBR. Hopefully it goes better than book 1 did, but I do think the fact that book 1 was a letdown for me will help me manage my expectations for the rest of the series, and I hopefully won't be let down even more. So this is going to be book 5 on the TBR. 1 prompt left. The last and final prompt is the 4 of Diamonds. The 4 of Diamonds is a color wheel. Okay, random color generator. So I'm going to spin the wheel and try to pick a book with a cover that'll match this color. So let's spin. And we have an orange. Yeah, well, the Poppy War would have been a great choice for this. Okay, for orange books, we have 2 options. We have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan and The Reformatory by Tanarive Doom. Both of these have been on my TBR. Well, this one I think is fairly new. This one's been on my TBR for about a year now, I believe. Looking at this TBR, I have 3 fantasies, a sci-fi, and a romance. As much as I think this will be really good, I think I'm gonna go with Before I Let Go, just to give myself a little bit more variety. I believe it is a second chance romance about 2 people who are co-parenting. This is book 1 in, I think, like a trilogy of interconnected standalones. I have heard really good things about both of these books, but the last and final book on the July TBR will be Before I Let Go. With all that being said, let's do a rundown of my July TBR. For a book chosen by a random number generator, we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. For a book that my partner chooses, we have Recursion by Blake Crouch. For a book with multiple POVs, we have When You Wish Upon a Lantern by Gloria Chao. For a debut novel, we have She Who Devours by Bustamante. For a book seen on BookTube, we have Clockwork Prince by Cassandra, Clare. And finally, for a book with an orange cover, we have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is the July TBR. Let's hope that I can do pretty well with this and get through some of these books. A bunch of these are on my 26 and 2026, which will be very helpful for my yearly goals. With that, that brings us to the end of today's video. Comment down below what books are on your July TBR. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!